There is an ocean of everything you want: success, power, and the most satisfying relationships. It's all available and waiting for you. This is The Zone of Action with your host, Gerald Action Jackson.
Today's podcast is about why it's time to address perpetually angry people. Why it's time to address perpetual anger people. Knowing when to walk away. Let me talk to you for a minute because this has been on my mind. We're in a time right now where companies are tightening things up. People are looking at productivity, performance, and asking a real question. Who's actually adding value and who's not? You hear conversations about trimming the fat, improving culture, making teams stronger. At the same time, there's a lot of discussion around fairness, opportunity, and making sure people are treated right. And all of that matters, but there's something else that nobody really wants to talk about. And honestly, I think it's overdue. We need to have a real conversation about people who are constantly angry, constantly short-tempered, and just flat out disagreeable. Not sometimes. All the time. I call them STAs, short-tempered and angry. Now, listen. Everybody has bad days. Everybody gets frustrated. That's life. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who walk into every situation already prepared to be upset. People who can take something neutral or even positive and turn it into a problem. And here's where it really gets frustrating. It's not just the attitude. It's the lack of accountability. These individuals will stand on being right no matter what. You can show them facts. You can show them proof. You can lay it out clearly. And somehow they still won't own it. They'll twist it. They'll reframe it. They'll find a way to avoid saying, you know what, I was wrong. But at the same time, they have no problem pointing fingers at you. And that creates tension everywhere they go. In the workplace, in relationships, even in everyday situations. You see it on social media all the time. You could post something positive, something worth celebrating. Let's say you announce you just got a major opportunity, something big, something exciting. Instead of congratulations, here comes somebody finding a way to make it negative. They don't like the person you partnered with. They question your success. They find something, anything to complain about. And you sit there thinking, how did we get here? That kind of energy is exhausting. Now, here's something that's most high-performing people understand, but they don't always say out loud. They avoid those people quietly. They don't engage. They don't argue. They don't invite that energy into their business, their circle, or their life if they can help it. Not because they think they're better than anyone, but because they understand something very important. Energy matters. Focus matters. And negativity slows everything down. Now, I had something happen recently that really brought this home for me. My wife and I have a routine. Saturday mornings, we go get manicures and pedicures, and on the way, we stop at Starbucks. If you've ever been to Starbucks on a Saturday morning, you already know. Long lines, a lot going on, but the vibe is usually good. People are patient. The staff is upbeat. Everybody's just trying to get their coffee and start their day. On this particular morning, everything was smooth. The baristas were positive, greeting people, working hard, keeping the energy right. Then, out of nowhere, everything shifted. A woman raised her voice and asked for the manager. The barista, calm and professional, asked if something was wrong with her drink. She said no. Instead, she wanted to know who put a smiley face on her boyfriend's cup and started accusing the staff of flirting. Now, here's the part that caught everybody off guard. They had put smiley faces on all the cups. including hers. But it didn't matter. She was upset, used profanity, told him to stop doing it, and walked out. And just like that, the whole energy in the room changed. People looked at each other like, what just happened? I caught eyes with another customer and I said, well, that didn't go well. We both kind of laughed, not because it was funny, but because it was a release. Because that moment didn't need to happen, but it did. And it affected everybody in that space. That's what constant negativity does. It doesn't stay contained. It spreads. Now, after I got my drink, I had a conversation with a gentleman who noticed the American flag on my lapel. We talked briefly, exchanged cards, and ended up staying in touch. Come to find out, he's a lawyer who deals with making sure other legal professionals stay in good standing. And interestingly enough, that Starbucks moment stuck with him too. In one of our conversations, he said something that really hit me. He said, people who live in constant anger, they block their own blessings. Not because opportunities aren't there, but because their behavior pushes those opportunities away. And then he said something even simpler. You can't change them, but you can block their access to you. Now, I'll be honest, that sounds simple, but it's powerful. You don't have to respond to every message. You don't have to engage in every argument. You don't have to entertain every negative comment. Sometimes the best move you can make is no move at all. Just keep it moving. Protect your energy. Protect your focus. And then he asked me a question that really made me think. He said, do you know your neighbors? I said, yeah, I know quite a few of them. He said, which one is the angry one? And I paused because the truth was none of them. They're all positive, easygoing, respectful. And he said, you attract what you are. That stuck with me. Because when you really look at it, energy clusters. Positive people tend to be around other positive people. Negative people tend to stay in environments that reinforce that negativity. So at some point you have to ask yourself, what kind of energy am I allowing into my life? Because here's the reality. You can't fix everybody. You can't reason with people who don't want to be reasoned with. And you can't build something meaningful while constantly dealing with unnecessary negativity. But you can make decisions. You can choose who you engage with. You can choose where you spend your time, and you can choose what you allow into your space. And sometimes the most productive decision you can make is to move forward without them. And if you're honest with yourself, that might be exactly what you need. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter, JeroldJax. On Facebook, Gerald Action Jackson and Zone of Action. Check out the website, GeraldJackson.com. Happiness starts with you, not with your relationship, not with your job, not with your money, but with you in the zone of action.